first official episode of the podcast.
Really, really excited about it.
Oh my gosh, we are here doing it. Hello,
Here we go.
hello everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to the first episode of the podcast. What's the topic again? Podcast. I am one of the co-hosts, Emairia Love, or also known as Mars.
And I am Debra Love, known as Debra.
and specifically, today's topic is going to be Gen X versus Gen Z, looking at different perspectives of each generation. Uh, I'm very, very, very excited about this topic. I know my mom is very excited about this one too because she done her research. She written stuff down. You probably won't see it in the final cut, but it's in on paper. And also, I have my laptop over here having the website, and we'll cite it specifically in the link in the description if you want to follow along on what we're doing. But anyway, yeah, let's get into the first bit, which is Gen X. And we back.
All right. I'm Gen X, born between the year of 1965 and 1980. All right. So she is the Gen Z, born between 1997 and 2012. We would not give you our actual year of birth. We
No.
just let you know what generation we are affiliated
There
with.
we go.
Yeah, right. And I could say, as far as me growing up as a kid, or even in the generation that I grew up in, we were known also as latchkey kids because we were very, very independent, and I can truly agree with that because our parents, at least both parents, was out the house working at the same time. So if my mom said, "Okay, when you get home, unlock this door, close it, and don't let nobody in," that's what we did.
That sounds like my grandma for sure.
Yeah, because we know if we did not do that,
You'll get your butt toe up.
something else was coming behind that. And it was also a generation too where you really basically had a village when it came down to watching your kids. You did know my mom had some neighbors that she depended on because we thought she had cameras in the house at that time because she just knew too much stuff that was going on as far as what we did. But being kids, certain things that she would say certain ways that she would look at us and stuff, we knew that we was telling on ourselves. Now as adults, we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you really didn't know. It was like you were really interrogating us,
Yeah.
and we gave you those answers. She said, yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
I think it's like that mother third sense when you get it, and also on top of that, grandma or also her mom specifically has so much respect in the family. It's just on the sense of even just looking at you, you just know that you either better hush up right now or you gonna get got. And it ain't gonna be by me all the time. It could be by the other
Right,
person that you're
right.
talking to, you know?
Even
So,
at my age, I still shut up when she said shut up. So,
mhm.
or just give us that look as adults,
Yeah.
and still like, okay, y'all better try to be quiet because mama,
It's like she go get
she
us.
done already looked at us. So, that's we were independent, true enough, but we did challenge certain things, challenge authority, and we basically did think for ourselves when it came down to things. Sometimes, you want to rock the boat on certain issues, but then you have to learn not to rock the boat all the time, especially when it came down to growing up in our household. Ain't we wasn't no rocking the boat at all. Mama was the authority. Whatever mama said, that's when it was no negotiating or debating about things as far as when it come down to these Gen Zs.
Well, I mean, specifically with arguing or anything like that, I mean, it's not. As a child, I did debate a lot. Dramatic, drama queen, all that. I was that child. And I specifically was just a handful, a lot. And being raised up in a household and Gen Z alone, having both parents, working parents specifically, in a house, I mean, I became independent on my own a lot on a few things, but I still was very playful always, you know, and, just in general, always like to test the limits with my parents sometimes, and I sure would get got. I sure would get got. Got got by this one plenty of times with a comb, with a brush.
That
Got
was just too much drama. Too
I
much
mean,
drama.
one time was with a shoe, and that was I find that funny to me.
That I do not remember. I really don't.
I think that was just quick reflex to see what I would do in that quick span of seconds. Probably I don't know, but I just remember that, and I just find it funny now. But as a child, it was like, "Woohoo! Time to get out."
But my thing is, yeah, you were independent in certain areas, but I taught you how to be independent.
Yep.
Because with me working, and then your daddy having to be at work, it kind of like threw you into doing certain things. I know
Yeah,
with five,
now when you say
teaching you how to
yeah, I would say when you
cook
say
certain things in the microwave so
Yeah.
that you needed him to get things out the microwave for you
Mhm.
because it got too hot,
Yeah.
but you knew what to do in order to put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
So, just teaching you some of those soft things as
Yeah.
far as oatmeal. I don't think I went no further than oatmeal.
You did oatmeal. You taught me, at least I think either you or my dad taught me specifically how to like put stuff in the oven, but it was like put stuff in them like fish sticks.
Yeah, but you
Pizza.
was older then.
Was I
You had to been in middle school by that time.
like 10 or something?
10. No, you were still in elementary school. So no.
11?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you were older when that happened. So.
Right. But still, though, as like growing up, and now when you said it in that form, it's more sense of learning. Since you're saying you're dealing with both parents out the house working all the
Right.
time, it's for my end anyway. With that bounce back and forth of like you being in the house at one moment out the day, then I had to deal with my dad. It's specifically knowing which emotions or which feeling, whatever, to tolerate, and it's like with my dad, I can, get away with a few things. But with my mom, if I even think about it, she gonna look at me and I'm like, mm-mm.
But it's just that I had to learn what you were doing as
Yeah.
a kid because the little tantrums, you're trying to be pleasing, you're trying to find out what is causing the tantrum so they can stop having the tantrum. But then I learned from reading a magazine, ignore the tantrum. They will stop. You ignore it. As long as I was feeding into it, she was screaming, kicking, hollering, or whatever. But when I stopped feeding into it and just walked over her or just left her in the floor having a tantrum,
Yeah.
she got up.
Oh Lord, I would never forget that Walmart incident.
Yes.
Lord,
I left her right there.
Let's tell the full story straight. Okay, I wanted a toy. Specifically, you probably like a Monster High Barbie toy, something. And it was in the toy aisle, and then the other side was just hair care products. You were probably getting like a relaxer, the kid relaxers or something.
Right.
And you needed to go over there because you're like, I need this child hair done because she ain't gonna act right if I let her have some nappy hair and I have to break you with the comb. Ain't gonna work. So I had like probably the toy in my hand or whatever, and you're like, put it back. We need to go over here or whatever. I was not having it. I was like, I want this toy now. And literally probably kicking and screaming. Had a full buggy of stuff too, like food, probably just other little tidbits.
Full buggy.
Yes. And talk about to the brim, like how you see people look like big ballin' with like EBT card type of some money. That's how it looked like. And I was kicking and screaming, and the hair aisle in like the garden center was right across from over there. So, because normally you like to park over there because it usually is not backed up.
To check out through the garden center
Right.
at that time than what it is to go back up to the front to the register.
Specifically, I was kicking and screaming, and you're like, Emairia, I'm gonna leave you. and then no, you won't. And I laid my butt out on the floor, still kicking and screaming. You hear them children that just be like, ah, and in like those aisles. That was me. And she walked out. She went to that garden center, went to the checkout and everything. I'm still kicking and screaming. And she's like, I don't want mama to leave me here. I'm gonna run to mama. That's running through a child's mind at the time. Me now, I laugh at it because I'm like, gosh darn, I was drama queen. Where is my Oscar award? I'm still waiting for it. Hand it to me now.
I used to do that. Oh, like great. You got an Emmy. You got an Oscar. You got an ESPY. for that particular one. Yeah.
A Tony Award, something.
She was an EGOT. She definitely did her little dramatic performances in order to have her way.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it was working. It really was. She was my only child. So I was doing things just to please her, to just keep her happy. If this make her happy, I'm going to buy her a toy. But this particular time, because she had all the toys, she probably just didn't have that particular
and I was
style.
watching a lot of like toy review channels at the time when YouTube was still like on the building platform, if you would, and watching like just smaller creators, big creators, all that still exists now, or some just stopped. And I wanted like the next Monster High doll. I wanted the next My Little Pony doll. I wanted the next Barbie doll that was going to be released in clothes or something. That's what I wanted, because that's what the other people had online. My mom was like, that ain't worth it right now. No,
it wasn't important at the time because you already had so many others. You only can play with one at a time, maybe two at a time, but just to have it, where are the dolls today?
I don't know if they're in storage or given to some other fortunate kid or anything like that, but I mean, the Monster High dolls nowadays, how people like would redesign it, reroute it with like the hair and stuff,
right?
And like make customized clothes. I'm like, man, y'all are creative.
And you could have been doing it.
I know.
All them dolls you had.
And
she
now,
had every last one. It was hard for me to find the male dolls.
Yeah, because they really only had like 2 males at the time, anyway.
Right.
And now they have created more, and obviously with like, is this the 3rd generation technically? Because it went through like flat 2D. That's the 1st generation. The 2nd generation was like the 3DS type models. Then I guess you could say, like it's a third. This is the 3rd generation technically of Monster High stuff. And now having the original dolls, you can price them up to like over $100 because it's a collector's item now.
Right.
It's insane to me how far that company has come and like came full circle back. Speaking of Monster High, off of a tangent, they came up with the Monster High 2.
The Monster High 2 what?
Like Monster High 2 on this is the movie.
No.
I would watch it. It's on Paramount, I believe.
See how we got off the topic.
I'm gonna say Paramount on this. You still got Paramount?
I do have Paramount.
Okay, and so I'm gonna watch that.
What topic we supposed to be about talking about again? Because we supposed to be talking about the different perspectives of Gen X and Gen Z.
I know.
As growing up, and we went from talking about you having a tantrum to Monster High dolls.
I know.
Really?
My fault. Anyway.
Get on back up in there. Now, with your generation came up as far as digital. Mm-hmm. Y'all were, as we call, the screenagers. Because you grew up as far as with technology.
Yeah.
And you had either a tablet, an iPad, or a phone.
Yeah.
Right? There's something in your hand every single time. And I can recall you having an iPad at maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Having an iPad, being out everywhere. You got the iPad, you doing something with it. So yeah, my generation was introduced to it.
Off of thinking about it, flip phones. The first iPhone didn't really come out till like 2008, 9. So it still is in Gen Z generation. So
that's true. Yeah, I mean, we were still doing things as far as computers, but it was nowhere near
as high tech as it is now.
Right. Nowhere near that. I mean, we learned how we was basically really learning about the technology when I was probably in high school. Mm-hmm. Basically really seeing it because I didn't get a computer of my own until I got out of high school. So it was still like 80s, mid 80s, late 80s as far as me. I'm not going to say other people probably wouldn't, but as far as me getting something, it was around about that time. So it
Yeah.
really wasn't as big as it is with your generation
Yeah.
compared to what it is with my generation. I
Mhm.
think with your generation, it was really that generation. That's what you had. You
Yeah.
had the technology when
Yeah.
you went to
It was
school. It was
firsthand.
all It was
Yeah.
all about technology, introducing you all. Everything was technology. And I can think about hooked on phonics for you because I know I bought all of that for you.
Oh yeah, like all the books and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then don't you remember you had the little game where you stuck the I think it was like
Nintendo 3DS, or was it the like Leapster type of?
I think the Leapster when you stuck the game
Yeah.
into the console
Yeah.
and then it played the game.
Yeah, the Leapster specifically, like the little kids device anyway, that was one of the things that was learning educated, but isn't
Right.
more of like a game, is a game thing, and it's like characterized on the sense of for TV shows and movies at the time.
Right.
And like the Nintendo DS and 3DS, I had the 3DS. I met other people that had the DS, and it was more of a brick, but the 3DS was like more of the slicker design, and that's what I had.
Right.
Broke all three of them.
Every last one of them. So I told her the next one she was going to get she had to buy on her own because
or most get the one I have right now fixed, which I feel like it can't be fixed because it's still.
I don't know. I mean, she just dropped it.
I know, and it. I don't know.
So everything has a dollar value to it.
It
but
does.
you as a parent, you got to have a stopping point as far as how much you are willing to replace something of value like that when it seems like the kid is not really appreciating because they feel like, okay, well, I broke it, then they're gonna replace it, and I stopped doing that because that's an expense. That stuff is very expensive. You all know that too.
I mean, more since I don't think how it is now. I think it's about like $100 now because it's not a lot of companies would make many.
But you play more games on your iPad these days than what as far as a handheld game.
Yeah. I guess that's where when it comes to one thing too, how it has evolved as well.
Right.
Especially for my generation. My generation went from handheld stuff, specifically like so many handheld things, from like the Tamagotchi to the like the what is the Pets game? I forget. Like I said, the stuff on the Leafster, the 3DS, the DS, the Wii, the Nintendo. I'm gonna say the Nintendo Wii, which we still have the console. Right. So happy that you did not give that away, and because I showed it, tell you to give it away, and you're like, no. It's still valuable. It has good games on there. I'm like, you're right. I can just buy, the consoles for it if I want to play like past games or whatever. So that'll be enjoyable for me when we have it again. But specifically, with all those certain devices that are now like slicked down to like either you can like download it on your laptop, download it on like a PC, download it on your iPad or your phone. Download it specifically on the sense of what's the other thing? Oh, like the Xbox Series, the PlayStation, all that. It's more slicked down than just like this wide variety of just certain games that you
having to go buy a little what they call it, a little disc.
Yeah, like it was like a little card, almost looked like a SD card.
Thing, and put that up in there. Yeah.
And I would say for y'all, online games probably was more since obviously just
we didn't have any online games that I knew anything about because all our stuff was video games. You had the big old video game machines, Miss Pac-Man.
Oh yeah, those
Galaga, and what you all can play now, but everything is on the computer.
Yeah, it's more
on your iPad.
If you go to like an actual arcade and try to play those games, it's more sense of nostalgia or just to feel the experience of it, how it was for some people like your decade, just to do so. When it comes to technology. But what else you got over there on that paper, Mama?
Okay, well, as far as my generation, we do like to have a work-life balance. I mean, and I do. I try to separate at times because sometimes I bring, I do work a little bit after my shift, but I try to make sure I balance it out. When I get off work on Friday, I leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
I do what I have to do, and I step away from it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I don't get back into it and trying to put my mind back into work until I get up on Monday morning. And I get up a few hours early just so that I can get myself
Get yourself together.
together and then get my mind set straight as far as what I got to do for the
Mhm.
day, and then I get back into work because you need to have that balance. If not, you're gonna burn out as far
Yeah.
as working. So I had to learn to have that work life balance.
Mhm. And let's see for
For
Jesse.
you, as far as work,
I mean, it's more sense of my own experience with working. Let's put it like that. I will say I'm the same way as you, but I can let you. I can also say as well that I do procrastinate a lot, and sometimes the procrastination gets the best of me either by like sleeping too long or being on my phone for a little too long, working on my makeup, my hair a little bit too long, and I'm 5 minutes late. We need to go now.
no, I don't want to be late for work. I'd rather be early for work. I think now, since, and we'll talk about this too, as far as working from home and in the office. Working from home, I think I'm much more, I
Independent.
have independent, I have a routine.
Mhm.
I have a better
And you can
routine
kind of
working
sort
from
of create
home.
your own schedule with
Yeah,
some things that you can do too.
compared to having to get up and get out. Don't have to fight any traffic or anything like that. But the times that I did, I made sure that I was up early
Yeah.
enough. I have much more discipline working from home than what I did with working in a in a
Because you're always
building.
on top of yourself trying to do, prep and stuff like that
Right,
beforehand, even if it's like prep for yourself or prep for your classes, all that.
right, right.
So, I mean, for me, anyway, with the working environment, I can, like, get in the grind, and it's a good grind too. It's like, ooh, I'm ready to work this day, or I'm ready to get some tips today, and all that type of stuff. And, I mean, I do enjoy working, but it just is not my forte on the sense of doing what my mom does, but she does work at home. I don't know.
I think with you all, you need to, and like I tell her all the time, find a career and not a job. When you
Yeah,
find a career that's going to be something that you really enjoy getting up doing every single day,
yeah,
it's not going to be like, oh, I got to go to work again, and you don't want to do it. So make sure you find a move. And that with your generation too, y'all more entrepreneurs.
I was, I was,
Because
I
you
was
like
thinking
to,
that too.
because you all have that creative gene.
I was
You
gonna be like,
you
own
have that
boss,
technology that
own
you need, so
independence.
you can get out there
Like
and
you
do
can
that.
literally just start like recording stuff on your phone, and you can like create a little mini following, and people will be running after you. Hey, can I be your manager? Hey, can I do this and that? And just be doing all that nowadays than how it used to be. It almost sounds like an impossibility when it came to starting stuff on social media. It's like, you do this for a
Right,
living, you
right.
know? This
But
not a real job.
that's the way it is right now.
Yeah.
It's like everything. It's social media make everything global.
Mhm.
At the point when I was growing up, it's like you could be global if you was a big business and that big business had connection with another business.
Yeah.
In order to be global as an entrepreneur, you probably gonna have to travel to that country
Yeah.
and meet people or live there and work and build a network in order to become that global product. Other than that, it's gonna be hard. But right now, you know, social media platform put you out and you in other countries. Depends
Mhm.
on, what platform that you're on. You in other countries.
Yeah, some people like ship you out. Some people will specifically be like, "Hey, we can get you X amount of money. You can like come to us and do this project or whatever." I mean, that's just how it is now. Because like I said, I remember social media used to not be called a job at first, especially in my generation when it was like really almost becoming like a heightened thing for some
I think
people.
people just putting things out just to see what would happen. Put it
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
it.
you know.
Either what would happen or just for the fun of it, the enjoyment of
Right,
it.
right.
And that's the fun bit of it now of creating stuff on social media just to, show an experience, show certain things, help somebody out and just be creative on the internet. And I really respect my generation for doing that and putting that as a forefront for sure. And I just love looking how some people are creative, not just only my generation, but other generations too.
Yeah, you have to find what is different. To
Yeah.
me, to a certain extent, what is different, Because most of the time, when one person starts doing something, then you got a
Which
hundred
of the
other
people
people
coming
doing the
along?
same thing. So still, with in order for someone to come to you and listen to you, whether you're Gen X, Gen Z, millennial, or whatever, you still gonna have to find your target audience.
Yeah.
You know, you can be doing the same thing and producing the same thing, but still yours is gonna be something different that's gonna bring that audience to you compared to somebody else.
Mhm.
So your Gen X, your Gen Z, your Gen Z may be going towards that Gen Z generation. That Gen X may be targeted towards that Gen X generation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know with me because I only know as far as Gen X, as far as I mean Gen X as far as me being a Gen X, true
Yeah.
enough, and Gen Z as far as you being a Gen Z. But I will have to do my research in order to get my Gen Z generation to listen to this Gen X
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
So I have to do my
Because
research to see what you all like, what you have, what you looking for,
yeah.
as far as your thing, as far as being this digital, socially and
Because
politically
some
aware of
things
things
that
and stuff.
I'm
You
gonna
know,
say for some people in your generation that tries to do like social media stuff, it's definitely to the eyes of Gen Z is the eye of cringe. Or at most it's like you're trying a wee bit too hard to sound like us, be like us instead of being
no,
in your own
y'all lose me.
forthright.
You lose me in your language, so
Yeah.
I don't even try. I don't even try. I really
Yeah.
don't. And like you who you what? Okay, no. Just give me the dictionary word for it, and then we'll work from there. I'm not. I don't know all this
He's
other
like,
stuff that you all be
I
talking
don't
about.
know.
I don't know. It's like it's right over my head. I
Yeah.
really don't know some
Unless
of
she
these
asks or
things.
like willing to learn and understand, because this woman did not know what what's the tea or I'm gonna tell you the tea was at all. You're like, what is that?
Tea, you drink tea. I think when somebody say what's the tea, I think of the British drinking tea, having their tea time, and they eating their crumpets and they're drinking tea and they're talking. That's what I'm thinking. So she said tea is gossip. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm
okay,
gonna
so
say like when I'm gonna say you want to put it in your language, how it is probably for some people that were older than you at the time. Probably like, girl, what's the gossip? What they were talking about over there?
right,
That's probably what they were saying. That's
right,
how it is now. It just evolved. What's the tea, girl? And tell me all the mess.
right. I mean, I think back in the day, I know it's shows that used to come on where the people was at the fence and they
Mhm.
were talking.
Mhm.
So that's how the news spread around in the neighborhood. Somebody talking to this person.
Yeah.
It's never, irregardless of whether you're getting tea or you're hearing gossip, it's never gonna be how it originally started out.
No.
It's always going to end up different. So whether it's coming from a Gen X, Y, Z, Boomer, Millennial, it's still not going to turn out the way that I say, hey, the color is red. By the time it get to that 10th person, that color's going to change to yellow, blue, orange,
It's
red,
like
green, you know.
I'm like they gonna say it actually mixed the yellow, and then that
Right,
when that person said
right.
I think it was yellow or something, I don't know, but we gonna take a little break, and then we gonna come back with a little bit more information. So yeah, and we back.
Okay, that's what I wanted as far as the difference with the Gen X and Gen Z,
Mhm.
the discipline.
Ooh, that I would say I want you to explain yours first before if I do my explanatory type of
Well, discipline during my generation was actually a spanking. You
yeah.
know, you did something that your parent didn't approve of, or did being disrespectful to an elderly person,
Mhm.
acting up in school,
Mhm.
acting up at home, acting up in the neighborhood, or whatever. And it gets back to your parent. Your parent is going to discipline you as far as a spanking. And granted, I got spanked with a belt. I got spanked with a switch. We had a thing called a gin belt, that extension cord, um, with a fly swatter, with a shoe, you know. But I think the extension cord product just lasted one time because I think Mama got that from somebody else who said
Yeah,
that's what they spanked their kids with.
that sounds so dangerous in my
And
opinion.
then just to see the
The actual
webs
webs
or
and
the
marks
bruise
on
that are
that.
left
Yeah.
on us as kids, she was like, no, I want to.
That's like almost borderline abusive.
Right. I want to discipline my kids, but not in that format.
Yeah.
You know. So it went from getting spankings on the backside to probably spankings in the hand, but then eventually I learned how to not do things to upset her
She was the good child.
or disappoint her, and those spankings stopped because I was not gonna to do that. I mean, first of all, they wasn't good. You know, a good thing to have, but I can tell you one thing: I never been to jail. I never gotten a ticket. I never been in trouble. I'm not that trouble. Was never that troubled kid, and not that troubled adult because I didn't want to do anything, and still to this day do anything to disappoint my mom as
Yeah.
far as having been disciplined.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's just, in my opinion, your own independence right there of you as a person. You're not really of someone that follows the crowd. You're someone that has, like, if I say no, I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna be having my head up high at the end of the day. Y'all can do whatever y'all want, but I ain't gonna be here.
And that's me. That's exactly me.
That's how you are. I mean, me is almost like how with this for me for discipline. It was for me in the same household on that route. Never was with the switch. Never.
No.
It was either with the belt, hand, comb, and like I said, the occasional shoe. And it would. And when I say occasional, probably like one or two incidents. That's it.
But even spanking you, it was to the point.
It was
of
never like
one, two
beat down.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 licks, and then that's it. Because you scream and holler like somebody was killing you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
My
I don't
screams
want
are
no neighbor.
terrifying.
I don't want no neighbor be calling over here thinking I'm killing this kid. So I just stop. And my mom was like, hey, her generation is totally different from your generation. You can't discipline her the way I discipline you all.
Yeah.
She like electronics. She like things like that. Either you're gonna spank her, or you're gonna take an electronic away from her.
I forgot about that.
You cannot do both.
Yep.
So I know it was times that I used to spank her, and then
take away the TV time, take away the iPad time, take away the laptop time, take away phone privileges, and you just have your phone,
right?
All that, and it became more like that instead of like a lick, But
I think that kind of like put you in the line a little bit more quicker because you like the technology.
Yeah, it did.
So if you was without that technology, you was lost for the moment.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, then I don't want to be without iPad time. So let me do what's right, and it iPad time out did not last that long. Maybe a few hours, and that was a discipline. And that was it. I don't think we ever went a full 24 hours without it.
My phone, it was.
The phone probably about a week or so.
I just got word flashbacks. My eyes said, "Woo!" because I forgot about that. What did I do to get my phone taken away from me?
You will be on the phone all night. I told you to put the phone down, and so you can get to school and be up for school on time, and you'll be up on the phone all night.
Let me explain. So, specifically for me, when it came to my phone, when I had, around the time when I started 6th grade, that's when iPhone 6 came out, so you can base it off of that. And the iPhone 6 was fresh, it was hot, it was new. They had the 6S, the 6 Plus, all that, and I had just the regular 6 because that came with the plan, didn't it?
That's all she was gonna get.
Yep. Because at first she was gonna give me like a simple like slide BlackBerry phone or something.
I did that. She ain't like it.
And I was just like, I want an iPhone. I want to at least get up with the trends or something. At least a new phone and stuff. You're like, it's so expensive, but fine. It's my child. She needs it or whatever. I think that person I was working at, not sponsored, not affiliated, AT&T, would convince you to give me that
her
iPhone.
A better phone.
Yeah,
she did. She said, "No, that phone is not good for her. Get her a better phone." So she ended up with the phone. True enough, but I don't know whether technology, as they call them, screenagers, the generations, though that right there, she got so
looped up in there.
Just too much. It was just too much time on that phone, and I told her, I said, Emairia, if I come in your room and you're on the phone, I'm going to tap you with this belt. So she think like, okay, mama sleep this midnight or 1 or
No,
2 o'clock in the morning.
let me explain.
Yeah, okay,
Everybody
explain,
says, like, let me
explain.
explain. I'm gonna tell you this whole situation how it happened, and it's for real. It's the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, let's
So,
hear it.
so specifically for me, I was on my phone. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play YouTube video. Turn my phone down, at least not turn my phone down. Turn it facing down on my bed and turn my back and fall asleep. Cause that's how I normally would do. Have the earbuds that were plugged in and just fall asleep. And that attempt lasted 3 times. I tried it 3 times, and the third time, when I turned around and tried to at least switch to something different or anything like that, that's when she caught me. And I didn't see her because she only cracked the door. It wasn't wide open or anything like
I
that.
did. I was being a detective.
And I turned my back, and when I turned my back, lick, I'm like,
I think I popped her 3 times before she realized that she was getting hit with the belt.
and like my face was just in full shock. And you turned on the light too. It's like, didn't I say? Stay off that phone.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't stay off of it. I don't know what's wrong with me.
And I probably set that off of pure shock and fear than like actual just trying to like defend myself or anything. But that's how it actually happened.
Yeah, and then from that time on, when she got ready to go to bed, I made her put the phone on my dresser.
It was like, I think 10 o'clock was the time that you told me. It was either 8 or 10.
Whatever
like
time she got ready to go to bed, the phone was in my room. So that way I won't have to worry about having to try to wake her up 3-4 times before she got up and got ready for school.
I love sleep.
But that right there, it's good to have it. Yeah. But it can also, just
we'll talk about that when it comes to social media episode for sure. When it comes to like how
it can become too addictive.
Yeah.
I love my technology, but I like what technology can do for me, not necessarily me, because I know being on certain things and just
scrolling on YouTube Shorts, TikToks for too long, and it's like it's already been an hour.
Right.
Oh God, I've probably been through like 100 or so of these videos,
And you look at the people and you see what they're doing, and I'm like, okay, so this person is really, really talented, but this only like what 30 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
So I technology, I guess for me, and it's being a Gen X, I just wanted to learn more about it.
Ooh, talk about that for a second. How you learn more sense with the computer and everything like that for your generation, for sure.
Okay, well, with me, I'm a person that you can tell me about it. You don't have to show me, but you can tell me, and I'm gonna go do it. Mm-hmm. So when I had my first computer, and it had a tower to it, and a person that works there, you can add more memory to that computer. And I'm like, really? Yeah, all thing I do is just go buy it and then just pull out the thing, and it's some slots in there, and you can add memory to it. I did that. Okay, so I'm like, okay, so I got that under my belt. Then someone told me, okay, you can do stuff with the hard drive. The hard drive thing did not work for me. I did it. I put it back in there, like, because it's not like at that time. This is like the 90s, the mid 90s, when someone is telling me how to do that over the phone. Mm-hmm. So and they walking me through it, but it didn't work.
It's not like how it is nowadays. FaceTime, you can at least see
or
the other person.
A YouTube video where somebody done something like that. So I was able to just go. I had to ship it. I had to ship my computer to them, and they had to. They had to fix
that thick old thing.
That tower. I had to ship it to him, and he had to fix what I had messed up. Another thing someone told me, as far as, well, I tell you, when my laptop was on the bed.
Oh, that laptop specifically. Yeah,
I had an HP laptop. Mm-hmm. It was on the bed, and she moved a certain way, and it fell off the bed, and my screen cracked. And someone said, well, you can fix that yourself. I'm like, really? Yeah, all thing you need to do is just go by blah, 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 and you can fix that screen. I fixed it. So I went bought what they told me to go buy, and I took the time out to take it apart. I think the first time I didn't get it right, but the second time I got it right, and I fixed my laptop screen. So that's that Gen X tech savvy in me, and me wanting to learn how to do things, and I'm not afraid to try it because my thing is trial and error. If I didn't do it the right way the first time, then I'm gonna go back and write it down what I did wrong the first time, so I can go back and do it again. And may have missed a step or didn't understand a step, and go back and I get it done the right way. Remember, I fixed the TV.
Yeah, you fixed that TV twice.
Remember, I fixed the refrigerator.
You sure did. You plug that thing back in and out. You fixed even the light up in the refrigerators, both of the freezers and refrigerator.
The bulb went out, and the TV was a big screen TV. The bulb went out. I called to see how much it was going to cost just to get the bulb replaced.
Let's just put it cost an arm and a leg just to get that fixed, and especially to send someone out to even see it.
Right. So I YouTube videos. I watched about 3-4 YouTube videos. I ordered the bulb from Amazon, and I fixed the TV.
See, that's when Amazon was efficient. They sent that like next day shipping
with
no prime, no nothing.
They did. And then I think the motherboard went out in the refrigerator, and I ordered that, and I replaced that in the refrigerator in order for the refrigerator to start working. I think it wasn't getting cold.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so
making all the cold stuff warm.
So I ended up fixing that. But I'm that Gen X person that like technology. Other people, you're probably not into maybe one thing, but me, I want to be diverse in all of it. So
like even with typing, you said you did a typing class.
Oh, I started typing when I was in the 5th grade. F space. It was on the electric typewriter. So just think about going from an electric typewriter to something as flat as that right there. Flat. Yeah, the keyboard and everything is still the same. They didn't do that. They just streamlined it and made it so much better, because now you can take basically your typewriter with you.
Yeah.
At that time, you would have to see that.
No, I saw it. I can understand, especially like in movies for sure. I know that.
Right. You have to see that. You weren't packing it up.
No.
Now they start having like I think word processors or something like that, where you can it had a case you can cover it up with, and then you can just carry it with you. It's still plugged into the wall, but that's when they really was starting building basically laptops. It just I think it had a little screen to it, but it wasn't as good as how these laptops look today. But it was still had that little software and stuff. And even when we first started getting our computers and stuff, you had to buy a disc to put software on it.
Yeah.
Now it's all these apps.
Especially,
you just download the app and there you go.
Seconds instead of like waiting for like an hour or two just for the thing to even like whatever you put up in there when it comes to like for you doing taxes or for like me playing like a certain game or whatever.
Right.
It takes forever for that thing to download. I'm like, man, we ain't here for 10 years. I'm gonna age a decade.
Now it's within seconds.
Yeah.
You got an app download on your phone, and now it depends on your Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi, storage space, all that.
Okay, so you don't know anything about beep beep. It's like make that crackling noise when
like
it was
connected.
When the internet was connected.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because you had to connect it through a phone line.
Oh my god.
So I couldn't be on the house phone.
House phones.
And
I was
be on the internet at the same time.
You and house phones. I only had like say even a lick of it. I'm not even gonna say a touch like you do. Y'all had one.
We had to have one.
No. But for me, it was like more sense of a house phone was not really a necessary thing because it to yourself you have a handheld version.
I had the house phone,
just in case of emergencies. That's why you had it.
If the power went out.
That's what I'm saying, emergencies.
Right. So you would still sometimes have that line because it was different from the power line as far as a landline phone. But then they started doing phones through the internet. Yeah. So if the internet went out, then you didn't have a phone again. So I just kept that for as long as I could, and then right now I just don't have a phone line at all. It really
serves no purpose for it now because of how high advanced technology with phones are nowadays. Not including Samsung, but Google phones, Apple is slightly elevating themselves too. It's crazy. And can you explain as well how you had to experience the thought process of not even thought process, but more since the process of having a house phone, dealing with four other, six other people in your house.
Well, really, I really didn't talk on the phone that much growing up. You know, Mama only gave us phone time. You had your phone time every school through Monday through Friday, as far as going to school.
Mm-hmm.
You seen your friends at school. You don't talk to them when you get home. You just seen them at school.
Yeah.
If y'all didn't have that conversation at school, then you can hang it up. You ain't gonna have it on the phone, and that was it. Even when we were dating at that time, I just seen you at school. We ain't gonna be on the phone all night. No, that did not happen. But having the phone, because in the beginning with the phones, it was to the point of you could not. If somebody was calling, it was an emergency, and somebody was on the phone, you can get a busy signal. If three-way came later, where the beep, and then someone didn't answer, then it's that you had to call an operator, and the operator would come through the line and say, someone is calling, it's an emergency, they're trying to get through this line, and that person will have to get off the phone and then let that call come through. So yeah, having a phone, it served its purpose at the time. You know, you as a Gen Xer never, I mean Gen Z.
Gen
I'm talking.
Z.
I'm sorry. I'm a Gen X. You as a Gen Z never had to experience a payphone.
No. It's there for aesthetics now and not for practical uses anymore.
I mean, if some payphones exist, I haven't seen any.
Not here, but see, you mostly probably would see them like downtown somewhere that's probably like unavailable.
Yeah, there has to be some research I'm gonna have to look at, because I don't even know if they still have payphones. Everybody basically have a cell phone.
Yeah.
So
whether you young or old, you got some sort of cellular device.
Yeah, I mean, they making it much more economical, basically, when it come down to everybody can have a plan, because you know, AT&T even have their prepaid.
So
everybody have their prepaid plan.
We really put in sponsorship out, like, hey, I would say, you know, these places exist.
Right. I mean, really, see the $30 or $40 plans and stuff that you can have with
$15 plan. You know, like from like what is it? The Walmart brand. You know what I'm talking about? Smart Talk, whatever that one is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Straight Talk.
Straight Talk.
Straight Talk.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. And I'm gonna say, you know, Mint Mobile.
They must be giving you a certain amount of minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like Mint Mobile and stuff like that. You know,
okay.
On Spotify. But anywho, let's get off of technology for a second and get into something a little bit different on the list, Mother. What else do we have?
No, I'm just saying that your group is saying that Gen X is more diverse as far as racially diverse, ethnically diverse, the generation, diverse generation in history. You all are the most ethnically and racially diverse generation in history.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, for sure. I mean, not only talking about all the movements that happened in 2020 for sure, and really speaking out on a lot of problems that still go on to this day. It's just not being voiced. And
definitely say you all are socially and politically aware.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like
looking at racial and gender equality, climate change, the LGBTQ.
Yeah.
So you all definitely aware of what's going on. I mean, our generation, I would say your grandma generation, they were more
economically, like politically aware. Would you say?
I would say more racially. Yeah,
racially and politically.
Segregation was going on during our time.
You're right about that.
Yeah. So yeah, they were definitely political with their thing too, as far as segregation and stuff. So no, not the Gen Xers. We was really trying to get into.
There was a lot of independence.
Independence, yeah, challenging the authority and to think for ourselves, and yeah.
I like it. Like they said, diverse, more sense of different communities that are out there. You always will hear somebody's voice for sure. Somebody's struggle, somebody's problem every day, you know, and sometimes their voice needs to be vocalized. It needs to be heard no matter what community you're in. everybody has a story to tell, and you need to listen to that person's story, whether it's good or bad, just to understand that person, to get to know that person, and understand where they come from in the first place. Because a lot of people will judge off of first hand. Oh, they did such and such, so I'm gonna be ugly and mad at them. Sometimes you don't gotta be that way because you don't know them. You know, even if you only know by little crumbs of information, at most you could be like, oh, okay, I understand why you did that. Maybe it was off self-defense. Maybe it was like specifically on the sense of you trying to stand for your own right, your own forefront. But it's nothing wrong with hearing somebody out, and
Right.
no matter your race, ethnicity, the specifically your gender, your sexuality, all that. In my opinion, your voice can't be heard, and I feel like our generation for sure, Gen
Yeah.
Z, voices
Yeah,
that
definitely.
heavily
Yeah,
on social
definitely.
media for sure.
Yeah. You want to be heard. I mean, this is a platform to be heard,
Yeah,
but still make sure that you are choosing the right words when you are doing that. I mean, it's things that people. Granted, yeah, you want to be heard, but
like I said, choose to pick your battles.
step back.
Yeah,
I would say step back. Don't talk as far as being emotional, because when you're emotional, you're really not rationally thinking
yeah,
about what you're saying. I would say step back, take a breath, think about it, and then when you calm, you can think clearly.
yeah,
And once you think clearly, then you can get out there and you can voice what you want to voice. But just make sure that you are researching
yeah, for sure.
what you're doing,
Yeah,
and as far as what you're supporting,
yeah,
make sure you researching that, because granted, everyone do need to be heard. Everyone has a platform, but you still want to say it the right way. You're not
yeah,
trying to. You don't want to have divide people.
yeah.
When if it's something
I'm gonna say
that
it's like
basically if you
some people
bringing a
should stand up
community
for
together.
these people. Everybody should stand up for somebody,
Yeah.
especially they're doing it for the right reason.
Right.
Anywho, we gonna take a little break and then we go in the podcast. I mean, I can't believe we even talked for like 55 minutes. Yeah, 55 minutes on
Right.
the dot. I can't believe it.
We said we're gonna give them about 45 minutes to an
45 minutes
hour,
to an
so
hour,
we definitely falling in that range.
Yeah.
So yeah. Go take a break.
Yep. Alrighty, this is the end of the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode because I feel like we went to, a few little tidbits, on each generation, on what we experienced, on our own perspectives of each one. We didn't really go too much in depth on the sense of like historically, because there are plenty of people out there that have like deep dived up in this,
Right.
and we are not affiliated or have
We
that
just
background to do that.
Doing our personal
Yeah.
experience as
Yeah,
far
yeah, yeah.
as growing up in our generation.
Yeah. And hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to follow the podcast, you can follow it at What's the Topic Again podcast on YouTube, or you can search it up specifically on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can follow me on all my socials, which is M4RSXLOVE. And do you have any final words to say?
Nope. You all have a great day. Enjoy
You
the
have a
rest of
great
your
day
day.
now. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.